On May 29, 1453, the last remnants of Greek culture fell when the Ottoman Turks captured Constantinople, formerly known as Byzantium, and previously the capital of the Eastern Roman or Byzantine Empire. This event not only marked the end of a nearly 2,000-year-old empire, but also symbolized the growing strength of the Ottoman state, which would grow to become one of the largest empires in history. In this video, we're going to look at how this event occurred and why it was such an important moment in world history. Constantinople was founded in 667 BC by the Greeks and originally called Byzantium. The city was situated at the Bosporus Strait, the narrow waterway that links the Black Sea with the Mediterranean and separates Europe from Asia. This made it a crucial stopping point for merchants trading in the Black Sea region. In 330 AD, the Roman Emperor Constantine I chose the city as the new capital of his empire, naming it Nova Roma or New Rome. Later, it was renamed Constantinople in his honor. For centuries, Constantinople served as the eastern anchor of the Roman Empire, preserving Roman traditions and culture after Rome itself had fallen to the Goths in 476 AD. When people think about the fall of Rome, they usually imagine the decline of the Western Roman Empire. But it was important to remember that there was also an Eastern Roman or Byzantine Empire centered around Constantinople. It was certainly influenced by its predecessor, but developed its own distinct culture over time. Although it was often in conflict with the Sasanian Persians to its east, the Byzantine Empire held out against the various Germanic tribes in the west. By the 11th century, however, it faced a new threat from the rising power of the Seljuk Turks in Anatolia, the Asian part of their empire. In 1071, the Byzantines suffered a crushing defeat in the Battle of Manzikert, leaving the eastern border virtually unguarded. Over the next few decades, the Seljuk Turks seized most of Anatolia, and the Byzantines were pushed back to a small corner of their former Asian territories around Constantinople. This is where the story of Mehmed II and the Ottomans begins. The Ottomans were another Turkish group that had migrated into the region in the 13th century under the leadership of a man named Osman, from whom they took their name. Like other Turkish groups, the Ottomans were initially a minor power in the eyes of the Byzantines. However, in 1362, the Ottomans captured the city of Adrianople, located in what is now southern Bulgaria. This was a strategically significant place because it sat at the crossroads between Constantinople and the rest of Europe. For the Ottomans, Adrianople became a launching pad for further expansion. Under the rule of Murad I, the Ottomans fought several successful wars against the Byzantines, Serbia, and the Hungarians. But it was his son, Mehmed II, who would make the greatest conquests. Unlike his predecessors, Mehmed wasn't content with merely being a local lord. From the time he was 13 years old, he dreamed of capturing Constantinople and making it the capital of his empire. He spent hours studying maps and charts of the city, memorizing its layout and identifying its weaknesses. When Murad died in 1451, the throne passed to Mehmed without incident. Although he was only 21 years old, he proved to be a capable leader, continuing his father's aggressive foreign policy. In April 1453, he began the siege of Constantinople with 80,000 troops, 300 ships, and a stockpile of 200 cannons. Leading the defense was the 28-year-old Emperor Constantine XI Palaiologos. Despite being outnumbered 3-1, he confidently turned down offers to surrender from Muhammad. For nearly 2 months, the Ottoman army bombarded the city walls with cannons and assaulted them with infantry. Each day, thousands of Byzantine soldiers died, leaving the defenders with fewer and fewer resources. On May, realizing that the city could not hold out much longer, Constantine sent an urgent letter to the Republic of Venice asking for assistance. But Venice refused to help, viewing the fall of Constantinople as a good opportunity to take over trade in the area. Also, the Orthodox Church in Constantinople broken ties with the Roman Catholic Church in Rome in 1054, so the call for help went largely unanswered. As the situation inside the city grew more dire, Constantine desperately tried to bolster its defenses. He ordered all able-bodied men, including shopkeepers, farmers, and even monks, to take up arms. Women and children were told to gather at the city walls each morning and evening to throw stones and other objects at the Ottomans. But despite these desperate measures, It quickly became clear that the city would soon fall. With the supply of gunpowder almost gone, the defenders could no longer operate their cannons, leaving them vulnerable to attack. On May, the Ottoman cannon's Rum family arrived, bringing with them the biggest guns yet. These massive cannons included the aptly named Basilisk, which shot cannonballs weighing up to 330 pounds, the equivalent of a fully grown lion. As the Byzantines watched in horror, the Ottoman artillery barrage shattered the city gates. Then, shouting "God is great," the Ottoman soldiers charged into the city. Constantine fought bravely, but he and his men were no match for the overwhelming Ottoman force. Soon, he found himself surrounded and fighting back-to-back with just a handful of soldiers. Seeing that the emperor was in danger, 2 janissaries, elite Ottoman troops, approached him and offered him a chance to surrender. According to legend, Constantine drew his sword and killed one of them before collapsing, wounded and exhausted. The other janissary then stabbed him in the chest, killing him instantly. Some accounts say that Constantine was actually executed by the Ottomans after the city fell. However, this is disputed, and his remains have never been found. As the last official Roman emperor, he was an iconic figure whose death symbolized the end of classical antiquity. With the city in ruins and their emperor dead, the remaining Byzantines surrendered. The terms of surrender guaranteed the safety of the civilian population and allowed the soldiers to keep their fortune. Mehmed, true to his word, honored the terms of surrender and spared the lives of those who remained in the city. In fact, he treated the citizens of Constantinople quite well, granting them the right to practice their religion freely, keeping the Orthodox Church in control of its property and allowing the residents to keep their wealth and homes. He also invited artisans and scholars from around the world to come to Constantinople and live in peace. This magnanimity may have been partly for show, tended to portray Muhammad as a benevolent ruler, but it was nonetheless genuine. He realized that if he wanted to turn the city into the new capital of his empire, he needed the cooperation of its inhabitants. In the following years, Muhammad built mosques, schools, libraries, and hospitals in the city, as well as extensive city walls to protect it from future invaders. Constantinople was renamed Istanbul, and it quickly became one of the largest and richest cities in the Ottoman Empire. The capture of Constantinople was a pivotal event in world history. It not only marked the end of the Eastern Roman or Byzantine Empire, but also signified the growing strength of the Ottoman state. In the following decades, the Ottomans would conquer vast territories in the Middle East, North Africa, and southeastern Europe. They would also engage in numerous conflicts with European powers, most notably the Republic of Venice, the Kingdom of Hungary, and the Habsburg monarchy. The rivalry between the Ottomans and the Europeans would shape much of world history during the Renaissance and Reformation periods. To watch our full video on the Ottoman Empire, check the description below. And thank you for watching.